and welcome back. If you don't know me, my name is Steph, and today we are making my homemade vegan English muffins. These taste just like the ones you remember, nooks, crannies, everything. I do want to let you know up front that this dough does need to be refrigerated overnight. So if you need something today, this isn't the recipe for you. But for everyone else, let's go ahead and get right into the recipe. Okay, so I'm making my dough in a stand mixer with my paddle attachment, and I'm adding 580 grams of all-purpose flour. That's about 4 cups, but this recipe is pretty sensitive, so I really recommend weighing the flour if you can. Next, I'm adding 2 1/4 teaspoons of instant dry yeast, a tablespoon of salt, and half a tablespoon of sugar. And I will just let that stir on the lowest speed until it's mixed up. Now I'm adding 3 tablespoons of softened vegan butter and 1 3/4 cups of plain unsweetened almond milk. And I'm just going to let that mix on the second speed until we have a shaggy dough. If you don't have a stand mixer, that's okay too. You can definitely do this by hand. It's just going to be a little bit of a workout for your arms. Okay, so now I'm going to spread some oil around the bottom of this bowl here and transfer the dough over to the bowl. You will notice that the dough is a little bit sticky. That is exactly how it's supposed to be, so don't worry. And I will just cover this up with some plastic wrap so it doesn't dry out, and I will put it in the refrigerator for 1 hour. All right, my dough has chilled, so now I'm going to knead it in my stand mixer using the dough hook attachment. I am using the 3rd speed on my mixer, and you want to knead until the dough is smooth, which usually takes around 5 minutes for me with my mixer. And now my kneaded dough is going to go back into my oiled bowl, and I'm going to use the same plastic wrap to cover the bowl again. This time it's going in the refrigerator overnight. So see you tomorrow. All right, it is tomorrow. My dough has risen quite a lot, and I have lined some baking trays in the back here with parchment paper. And next I'm just going to put some flour on my counter here and roll out my dough. So let's get right into that. All right, so I'm just gonna put some flour on my rolling pin here and start rolling out the dough. I am not rolling the dough too thin. It should be about 1/4 inch thick. And you also wanna make sure that it's not thicker in the middle than in the edges. You really wanna try your best to get it rolled out evenly so that your muffins are also evenly thick. Next, I'm going to cut out my muffins using the top of the glass here. This glass is actually not the right size for standard English muffins. It's about 3 inches in diameter. You probably want to use a glass or a biscuit cutter that's about 3.5 to 3 3/4 inches in diameter. I recently moved overseas, if you don't know, and I couldn't bring everything, so I'm slowly buying back the things I need. But actually, I've been pretty happy with eating these mini English muffins. I've been eating them before I leave in the morning, and since they're so small, I can eat them really quickly and get out the door faster. So once my muffins are all cut, I'm going to dip both sides in some cornmeal. You could also use semolina flour here, and I am just going to set them on my parchment lined baking trays. And then I'm going to cover them up with a kitchen towel and let them rise for another 1 to 2 hours. Once they're puffy, they are ready to cook. So I am going to preheat my oven to 350, and I'm going to heat up a cast iron pan over medium-low heat. Using the lower heat here is really key to getting those nooks and crannies inside, so don't overdo it with the heat. And I'm just going to add the muffins to my pan and let them cook here until they've got a nice golden brown color on the outside. This should take about 4 to 5 minutes per side. If it's taking more or less time for you, then you probably want to adjust your heat accordingly. So I will also cook the other side for another 4 to 5 minutes, and then I will just put them back on the baking tray. Since we are using pretty low heat on the stove, we are also going to bake the muffins to ensure that they're cooked all the way through. So once I have a full tray, then I will just pop it in the oven for 5 minutes to finish cooking. And finally, we will just let these cool off on my wire rack here. Alright, so my English muffins have cooled. They're looking pretty good. Well, except for maybe this one. I'm not sure what this one's doing, but the next thing that we need to do is we're going to cut the English muffins. And you don't want to do this with a knife. If you're gonna get those nooks and crannies, you need to do this with a fork. So let's do it. Alright, it is taste test time. Let's see how they turned out. So actually I was thinking, I'm not that hungry right now. I'm just gonna eat one bite, and then I ended up eating the whole half, and I'm probably gonna eat this half too. But oh wow, it's really good. I forgot how much these taste like the original English muffins. Like, they're very much like the original with the nooks and crannies, and then you've got the cornmeal on the bottom, which gives it that extra texture, but really delicious, and actually I think more flavorful than the Thomas's that I used to eat. So Alright, well that is all for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you make the recipe, I hope you enjoy that as well. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.